Good morning, boys and girls of grade 9. Good morning to all the faculty members, the teachers of grade 9, the supervisors, coordinators, and dear parents. It's indeed a pleasure to inaugurate the annual exhibition pertaining to personal projects done by students of grade 9. Indeed, a lot of thinking, challenge, and research has gone into your projects, boys and girls, and that is highly commendable as you are marching upwards towards IGCSE boards in grade 10, and you've just completed your SM paid and onward to IB. So actually you've reached the base camp before you reach the summit of IBDP, IBCP, and move on to universities. So this exhibition plays a very important part in the process of your thinking, your analytical skills. In grade 10, you'll be doing IB MYP designed program of personal project, and all these exhibits which you're putting up now are stepping stones where you'll get a certificate from IB for your personal project. It's a very important milestone in your academic career. The key focus of having this activity is to instill a love of learning in each student, in making each one of you a lifelong learner, involving you in activities beyond the four walls of a classroom. As you deal with issues which are related to the world, current issues, and so many other personal issues which you think should be addressed. And that is what we call holistic education. Through these projects which you have put up, you learn from your research, your actions, you test your capacity, your intellectual capacity to go beyond, ability to investigate, ability to be inquisitive, curious, and be creative. Your exhibits include something called STEAM: science, technology, engineering, arts, maths, and involving a commitment towards technology and artificial intelligence. You're also developing new skills towards learning through your exhibits. Indeed, there are so many plus points. I take this opportunity to congratulate and say thank you to your teachers who are the moving force, who motivate you, who inspire you and guide you. And in these pandemic times, the role of parents has also become very vital. As you're doing research and work on your projects from home, parental guidance also comes in. So The African proverb, it takes a village to educate a child, has come to be so true for us. All are involved to draw out the best from you, to show you the direction. But you have to do the walking. That's what education is. And going through your projects which I have received, I'm completely impressed. Well done, boys and girls. Keep it up. You have lived up to the school motto, virtue et labor. I'm overwhelmed to see the different projects you all have taken up related to global issues, local issues, and the research which you've done, how you analyzed your topics, and the skills which you have developed, leadership skills, speaking skills, art and craft skills, and even teamwork. Yes, it's phenomenal. Boys and girls, you indeed deserve a pat on the back. And in these pandemic times, doing these tasks, it's indeed, I can say, a Herculean task, a challenge. And that's what makes life wonderful. I should say, boys and girls, you have been involved in raising the bar of excellence. You're raising it higher. And thank you, teachers. Thank you, teachers, for building the self-esteem and confidence of our students, drawing out their hidden talents, teaching the values of perseverance. So all the teachers, your dedicated teachers, professionals, I thank them all. Hats off to all of them and your parents. And of course, to you. With these words, I wish you all the best for your exhibition. Keep thinking, keep planning, keep smiling. As you face challenges, there should be joy and effort. Congratulations.
Good morning, respected principal, supervisors, teachers, and my dear friends. I am Asta from 9C, and today the exhibition topic that I have chosen is how does a lack of sleep affect our daily lives at school? What is the definition of sleep? Well, the scientific definition of sleep is the natural periodic state met by a loss of consciousness in one's surroundings. We all spend about 1/3 of our life sleeping, and sleep is essential to us as food and water. Every person needs different requirements of sleep based on their gender, age, medical history, etc. These are the requirements of sleep shown on screen. For this presentation, I will be focusing on the teens that are aged 4 to 17 years who need at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep. But there are many teens who don't sleep that much, and because of that, it can affect their daily lives and their school performances. It can also affect their personal life and social life. To find out more about this, I have taken a survey to find out what is the main reason of why teens do not sleep as much as they need. From this survey, we can see that most of the people that I surveyed do not sleep for more than 8 hours. And I have found two main reasons for this. The first one is homework, and the second one is social media. Now let's talk about the first reason, homework. Now I can summarize this whole thing in one word: procrastination. It is the action of delaying or postponing something. So, when a student gets a project that has to be submitted in a given amount of time and keeps procrastinating on it, they have to stay up the whole night before the deadline and end up losing sleep on it. The second reason, but most prevalent in our times, social media. Many teens nowadays are addicted to social media and always compare themselves to people who look better than them. And because of this, a lot of teens have anxiety and depression towards their looks. And because of this, they don't sleep but end up comparing themselves to other people and trying to make their looks better. Now let's look at the effects of sleep. Now let's first see what happens if you sleep for more than 8 hours. It increases your immunity, it prevents migraines, it helps regulate your menstruation cycle, it maintains healthy skin, and it maintains normal blood pressure. Now these are the effects if you sleep for more than 8 hours. Now what would happen if you sleep for less than 8 hours? Lack of sleep can cause a number of problems for teens, including sudden mood changes, poor appetite, lack of focus, and teens can also indulge in risky behavior. It can also severely affect a teen's mental health. A study conducted by Harvard Medical School shows that the participants who slept for less than 6 hours a day are 3 times more likely to consider suicide and 4 times more likely to have reported a suicide attempt which required medical treatment. And suicide is the second leading cause of death in teenagers. Now, most teens with sleep depression also often feel sad and hopeless, and they are also more likely to drink alcohol or get into a physical fight with someone, or also more likely to do drugs. But we also have to know why they don't sleep enough or why they keep sleeping late. There are many reasons, but I will just be talking about four of the main reasons. The first one is puberty hormones. It can shift a teenager's body clock, and because of that, they don't get the amount of sleep that they need. The second reason is smartphones and tablets. When they are used around bedtime, it can reduce the amount of sleep that they get because the blue light that comes from the devices is more concentrated than regular light, and because of that, it directly affects melatonin, which is the hormone that induces sleep. The third one is coffee and energy drinks. Many teens love to drink coffee and energy drinks, but what they don't know is caffeine is known to cause insomnia and reduces sleep. The fourth reason is some teens also have a hectic after school schedule, and some teens also procrastinate with their assignments, and because of that, they have to stay up very late in the night to finish their assignments. With all these problems, there has to be a solution, and there is. There are many ways to prevent sleep deprivation in teens. Some of those reasons are they should drink caffeine or energy drinks only in the morning, they should avoid mobile devices before bed, they should wake up at a consistent time, like put an alarm for every day, they should take an afternoon nap, and they should never procrastinate on their homeworks and projects. And with this wraps up my presentation. I hope you are all informed about what is sleep and how important it is for us. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Abhi Yadav of grade 9C, and today I'll be talking about the Great Barrier Reef. What is a reef? A reef is a ridge of rocks in the sea which is formed by the growth and deposit of corals. Coral is a marine vertebrate that is found in both shallow and deep waters. Barrier reefs are those that form parallel to a landmass, usually miles away. The Great Barrier Reef is located in Queensland, Australia, approximately 344,400 square kilometers. Due to the many outside influences, the Great Barrier Reef is in peril. The Great Barrier Marine Park Authority has introduced several plans to help stop the reef from going extinct. Lots of the species that are native to the Great Barrier Reef are endangered. The causes of the problems are climate change, pollution, and tourism. Pollution: 30 rivers in the Queensland dump into the waters around the reef. Pesticides and fertilizers run off into these rivers and poison the inhabitants. Ships take shortcuts through the reef and release exhaust and leak oils which affect the corals. Climate change: rising climate causes icebergs to melt, which makes the ocean rise estimates are at 3 millimeters per year. When the iceberg melts, this causes the coral to discharge the microorganisms which live on them. Tourism: when the tourists go for diving, they sometimes pluck some of the corals from the reef. Suntan lotions and oil wash off easily and can cause damage to the reef. Boats drop anchors into the reef, which causes physical damages. The solutions for these are choosing sustainable seafoods, conserve water, and if you go diving, do not touch the corals as they can harm the reefs. Do not send chemicals into the sea and sometimes volunteer in beach cleanups. Thank you.
Welcome to my virtual exhibition. This video will talk about the gene editing tool CRISPR and how this simple yet powerful technology is used to edit DNA sequences and alter genomes.
Do you wish to be instantly taller, grow wings, and change your hair color at will? These questions might seem absurd at first, but with what you're about to learn, they might just be a sneak peek into our near future. Viruses and bacteria have been enemies for ages, and the bacteria survives the virus attacks by activating its most effective antivirus system.
CRISPR has two main components. The first are short snippets of repetitive DNA sequences called CRISPR. The second are Cas, or proteins which chop up DNA like molecular scissors. When a virus invades a bacterium, Cas proteins cut out a segment of the viral DNA and save it in their archive called CRISPR. When that virus attacks again, they arm a secret weapon, Cas9.
Cas9 scans the bacterium's insides for any signs of the virus. When it finds a perfect match, it's activated and cuts out the viral DNA. Scientists can now hijack CRISPR to target any DNA. Once the DNA is cut, the cell will try to repair it, typically using proteins. But this type of repair process is prone to mistakes, and the resulting gene is often unusable. However, if scientists add a separate sequence of template DNA, the proteins can perform a different repair process called directed repair. They will use this template as a blueprint to guide the rebuilding process.
The ability to fix DNA errors means that CRISPR could potentially create new treatments for diseases such as sickle cell anemia and cystic fibrosis. We might even be able to defeat one of our worst enemies, cancer. But the moral and ethical accountability that rises from the use of CRISPR still remains debatable. But using restrictions and regulations, this too could be overcome.
Whatever your opinion on genetic engineering is, the future is approaching no matter what.
Good morning, respected principals, sir, supervisors, coordinators, teachers, parents, and my dear friends. I am Anirudh, and I'll be presenting an inspired idea to address one of the major issues that are happening in a lot of young people. I'm talking about depression. My global context is identities and relationships. My inquiry question is, how is mental health affected by the coronavirus pandemic? First, let me show you how I came to my final product. I started off brainstorming random ideas that came into my mind. It went from blogs, videos, and PowerPoint presentations. But in the end, I decided to pick one thing, that is board game. By creating a board game, I thought that by the physical and personal interaction with people through playing games will help in expressing laughter and happiness, and with this shared positive experience may help to decrease levels of depression. In order to get the necessary information, I decided to research it. I have researched a case which a small boy who had suicidal depression, and he used the board games to help him overcome it. I've also researched my inquiry question: how is mental health affected by the coronavirus pandemic? And luckily, I found the necessary information I need. I've also looked at the causes of depression to let me know more about depression. I've also got an in depth interview when I interviewed a psychologist who told me about more about depression. After researching all of my designs, I then started to design my product. The game, which I called Crackomania, is listed over here. I've also generated the rules for it. I've sent two designs to my mentor, and in the end, she said to combine both the designs. And after that, I've generated my final design, which is here on my slide. Then I started to work on my project completely. I made by using infraboard and paper and Concord paper. I finished my project. I assembled everything, made the pawns for the design. I've used the cards, and I've also created two additional decks called the chance and mystery cards. They are random cards which either have a special card, which have a special ability, and also another consequence or a dare. This is my final project. It is called Crackomania. The reason why I called it Crackomania is because it the word crack is sometimes referred to as the depressive state, but I decided to use the crack as two things. Crack as in the sense of cracking a joke, also crack in the sense to break away from the depressive state. This is my bibliography. To conclude this, I decided to give a small quote by Dwayne Johnson. I quote, "I found that with depression, one of the most important things that you could do is that you could realize is that you're not alone." Unquote. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.
Hello, teachers and friends. Today I will be talking about my exhibition topic, depression. What is depression? Sadness, feeling down, having loss of interest or pleasure in daily activities are familiar feelings for all of us, but they persist and affects our life sustainably. The issue may be depression. Teenage depression. Teenage depression is a serious mental health problem that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest in activities. It affects how your teenager thinks, feels, and behaves. The mental and emotional disorder known as teen depression is no different medically from adult depression. However, symptoms in teens may manifest themselves in different ways than in adults. This may be because teens face different social and development challenges such as peer pressure, changing hormone levels, and developing bodies. Depression can be associated with high levels of stress, anxiety, and in the most serious scenarios, suicide. Some of the symptoms of depression may include emotional changes, feeling of sadness, which can include crying spells for no apparent reason, frustration, feeling hopeless or empty, irritable and annoyed mood, loss of interest, low self esteem, feelings of worthlessness or guilt, extreme sensitivity to rejection and failure, behavioral changes, tiredness and loss of energy, insomnia, use of alcohol, social isolation, poor school performance, anger outbursts, making a suicide plan or a suicide attempt. Depression is not a joke. Mental health matters as much as physical health. Without proper mental health, one cannot do anything satisfactorily. We are living in an age of anxiety and uneasiness where everyone is lost in his or her life, full of complications and obstacles. There is a difference between feeling sad and between depression. Feeling down is a part of life. Sad and upsetting events happen to everyone. But if you're feeling down and hopeless on regular, you might be dealing with depression. Whenever you start thinking about something over and over again, then you get depressed and anxious. Anxiety and depression is a growing problem for teens and young adults nationally and locally. In our society, it is thought that there is no existence of depression. They poke at people who said they are worried or depressed. Provocation and mismanagement leads to an increase of worries of depressed souls. They do not need your barbarous words as and long lectures, but your support and love. There is no cure for depression except love. It costs nothing for you to behave kindly and lovingly with worried and anxious people, but it means a lot to them. Bibliography. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anishka, and for today's exhibition, I would like to present my topic, Humans and Society. For a small introduction, through this presentation of my topic, my goal is to broadcast these ideas to turn the chaos we face into clarity, creating the future the way you and all of us want, which ensures everyone's well-being. In this presentation, the two main aspects of the topic consciousness would be covered, wherein I would explain what it truly means to be responsible and how consciousness could possibly form an environment that benefits our future. My topic. I chose this topic in relation to two aspects, one being the current situation where we're in right now. I see some people not taking enough responsibilities for their own and others' safety and lives. And also a mixture on why do people feel so constricted by society rules and norms and feel like they don't deserve the happiness and success they have. Even those people who don't believe in one's capability to reach their own dreams, goals, and desires, or give it a chance to make a difference. Merging into my first aspect, responsibilities. Having the responsibility in hand automatically gives you the charge of your life, whether it's taking care of your health, keeping yourself safe and others safe, or even taking charge of life situations you're in right now. Think of it like this. If everyone in this situation took full responsibility, do you think the situation would be much lighter by now? Responsibilities. Responsibility is commonly related to adulthood and the burden to handle this all situations. But it's all an image society has created in our minds. To think more about responsibility, it's just the ability to respond. And it's as simple as how well do we respond, which is more important than the actions we want to do, because sometimes actions tend to be limited, but responding is not. Um, it's as simple as being aware of our situation and responding. One great example is in this situation. Taking precautions is a response. Staying at home is a response. Wearing a mask while going outside is a response. Taking the vaccination is a response. And that's our responsibility to lighten the situation and make things way better. Merging to the second topic, consciousness, which is a very simple thing. It's just a sense of inner and outer reality. One question I would like to raise and bring awareness to my audience right now is, with using our conscious thinking, to what extent can we bring transformation to the society? I recently started to think a lot about this, and I cannot imagine how beautiful our environment would turn out if everyone thought consciously, if everyone's action was conscious, and the enhanced ability to respond. Think of it like this: the number of possibilities you could achieve, a life you create for yourself solely based on your response to people, situations, and even the smallest things in your surrounding. It all depends how aware you are in life. And one huge aspect is involvement in external and internal world, which would bring awareness, which would make you think more consciously into the day-to-day activities you do. And This would enhance your ability to respond. If each and every one started to enhance their ability to respond, we can create the change the world truly needs. And this is where I would like to end my topic. I really hope that some people took valuable information from this and learned a lot. Researching on this topic has widened my perspective and has opened my eyes to a bigger picture where I stand in society. And thank you. Have a nice day and thank you for listening.
Good morning. I am Ashmit Rawat from 9C and today I am going to be talking about my exhibition project. So what is my project? Car pollution is one of the major causes for global warming. Cars can emit carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases trap heat in the atmosphere, which causes worldwide temperature to rise. My project is to use electric vehicles to produce zero emissions, which will also improve the air quality. So my goal for the exhibition was to create a prototype of electric vehicle batteries that would be more improved and as efficient as possible so a common person can afford it easily. I knew that this project was going to be challenging for me as electric vehicle batteries contain different types of sensors and there was no simple design on the internet that I could have found out, so I had to make my own. What is my research skill? My research skill for my project began with a survey that I have conducted. Through this research, I mainly aimed to find out whether people living in various locations in Jakarta really needed a battery or not. My inquiry is it possible that electric vehicles can also emit harmful gases just as other vehicles do? So why do we want to use electric vehicles? As they produce zero direct emissions, which specifically helps improve air quality in urban areas. They typically produce fewer life cycle emissions than conventional vehicles because most emissions are lower for electricity generation that burns in gasoline or fuel. My global context is scientific and technical innovations. So as electric vehicles are increasing at a constant rate, this also monopolizes the electric car industry, also enables it for more innovation and advancement surrounding the suitable transportation. The other innovations that engineers are also improving is the battery longevity. By modernizing the battery in the vehicle, this will allow the vehicle cost to also decline and make it more efficient. I started my planning in the first stage by developing a clear and challenging criteria for the product, which was also to be created. I wanted the product to be as simple and friendly and user friendly. I also wanted it to be safe for the users to use. Before starting my personal project, it was important to organize the prior knowledge I had about the subject. My prior knowledge included the commonly used products needed to make the battery. So my innovation is to design long-lasting batteries as it can help improve the condition of an electric vehicle and make it more affordable for people to buy. There were many different resources I had taken, such as from books, internets. I have also asked questions from my mentors and parents. This is my project. Thank you.
Good morning, respected principals, teachers, supervisors, coordinators, and my dear friends. Today, my exhibition topic is going to be bullying. Bullying. What is bullying? Bullying is when a group of people who feel stronger and more powerful deliberately hurt someone or a weaker person. This action is perceived by the victim to be repeated and tends to be frequently in schools. The word bullying is used to describe various violent behaviors that are deliberately carried out in a planned manner by a person or a group of people who feels more in power towards a person or group of people who feels powerless against his treatment. Examples of bullying. As you can see, this red t-shirt guy is trying to punch this other guy with a backpack. And in the other photo, you can see the teacher is trying to calm the kid down because other classmates are laughing at him of his appearance. The word bullying. Bullying is used to describe various violent behaviors that are deliberately carried out in a planned manner by a person or group of people who feel more in power towards a person or group of people who feel powerless against this treatment. Forms of bullying: verbal bullying, physical bullying, gesture bullying.
direct bullying, verbal bullying, physical bullying, bullying gesture, extortion, e-bullying, indirect bullying. How is bullying affecting? Wounds, bruises, torn clothes for no apparent reason, lazy to go to school, complain about being sick before leaving for school, hard to sleep, the impact can be short term, can be for life, don't underestimate what the victim feels because it is very painful, annoying and scary. Children often feel afraid to go to school and lose their self confidence. Children feel weak, unfriendly. It is their fault. Difference between bullying and fighting. Equal power happens occasionally, accidental, not serious, imbalance of power, serious with threats of physical or emotional harm, attempt to hurt through humiliation or exclusion that affect social status and relationships of victims, repeated negative convert actions, bullying done in groups. There are bully cliques, main actors and assistants. There are viewers, bystander. The perpetrator The perpetrator feels proud, satisfied, and perceives this as normal. Even needs to be done that underclass men become strong discipline. The victim feels upset, depressed, angry, anxious, scared, and sad. Place in school, canteen, bathroom. Places in school, canteens, bathroom, or other outside supervisions of teachers and outside the school, malls, parks, public facilities. Teachers' perceptions of bullying, only physical violence, which is usually done by students and deemed necessarily for treatment. Parents' perceptions of bullying, physical and non-physical violence is considered a problem. Policies taken by school. In general, schools try to solve problems internally, called by perpetrators, victims, and sometimes OT perpetrators. But in general, schools do not have specific policies for handling violence or bullying. Triggers for different courageous junior student behavior. Triggers for different courageous junior behavior. Example as flashy clothes, way of talking, beautiful, not greeting, causes, values, traditions, prevailing in school, frustration, exam regeneration. Bullying between students in the same class is usually indirect, isolating, seizing a girlfriend, friend, opening secrets, spreading gossip, complaining, satire, and verbal expression. Bullying between juniors, scolding and insulting. Thank you and have a great day. I hope you liked my video of my exhibition topic on bullying. Thank you and have a great day.
Good morning. My name is Casey Shan of 9C, and today I bring to you weaponization of nuclear fission. These are the questions I propose to you regarding my research question. What is this topic about? The topic is about how nuclear fission has been exploited to create weapons of mass destruction and used to wage stress against opposing forces. What makes this topic important? This is an important topic because of what has unfolded throughout history. During the 20th century, the Cold War had taken place. Two countries of opposing sides had come close to ending society due to the use of atomic bombs, which is why I believe this should be addressed. How is this a world problem? As stated before, nuclear weapons have the power to destroy all of civilization due to the amount of weapons that have been created and the power these weapons hold. Because of this, I believe it should be addressed. These are the questions I propose to you regarding my product. This is the product that I've created. I've created a website based on the weaponization of nuclear fission with different pages on the following topic. What is nuclear fission? Weaponization throughout history. Dangers of nuclear fission. Long-term effects, followed with my conclusion. Why do I think it's effective? I think it's effective because it includes images that reveal a grim meaning, which will intrigue those who come by the website, making them more interested. Who are my target audience? My target audience is everyone. But with my website, I'm trying to target the younger generation because they are the future and they're the ones that will be the change in the world. What did I use to create my product? The software I use to create my product is Wix. It's ideal to use and the user interface is very simple. About my topic, fission is a reaction in which a neutron collides with a uranium atom. A lot of energy is released in the process, the same energy that is used in an atomic blast or in a nuclear reactor. This was found in 1939 when two scientists by the name of Flies Minter and Otto Frisk were conducting a test in which they would bombard elements with neutrons. Uranium would react differently. The atom would split into two at roughly the same way. This phenomenon would later be weaponized and used against the Japanese during World War II. During the testing of these bombs, Soviet spies would copy this to create their own weapon of mass destruction. And so the Cold War pursues. During this century, countries have created atomic bombs of their own to fuel their power. This is the evolution based on how a reaction between a neutron and an element has been weaponized to destroy. Thank you. This is Casey, and that was the weaponization of nuclear fission.
What are microplastics? I'm sure all of you know plastic. It is cheap, sterile, and convenient. Plastics are made from polymers. Polymer molecules are made from simple oil-based raw materials. We have produced around 8.3 billion metric tons of plastic. Majority of plastic end up in the ocean. There are around 8 million tons of plastic in the ocean per year. It is constantly exposed to UV radiation from the sun, and hence it crumbles into smaller pieces called microplastics. Microplastics are smaller than 5 millimeters. 51 trillion of these particles float in the ocean, where they are easily swallowed by marine life. Scientists are concerned about health risks from the chemicals added to plastic. For example, BPA is added to make plastic bottles transparent, but it may interfere with our hormonal system. DEHP is added to make plastic more flexible. However, it can cause cancer. Microplastics with these chemicals are toxic, and they travel up the food chain. The health risks to microplastics are still largely unknown. 93% of people have been found to have BPA in their urine. If plastic is bad, why don't we stop producing it? Well, unfortunately, the ban on the production of plastic is a lot more complicated than you might think. It requires little energy and produces a lower carbon dioxide emission compared to a reusable cotton bag. You would have to use a cotton bag 7,100 times in order to have a lower impact on the environment than a plastic bag. Plastic food packaging is still the best way of preventing food spoilage and to avoid unnecessary food waste. Majority of the world's plastic pollution is coming from this. We can reduce plastic pollution by avoiding single-use plastics, use biodegradable plastics, avoid using plastic straws, use wooden or steel utensils, avoid buying products that contain microplastics, reuse plastic instead of throwing it away. When bringing home food, avoid using plastic containers and bring your own glass containers instead. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to spread awareness.
What is the reason behind my product? Staying safe during these hard times is a must. A huge requirement of staying safe requires proper sanitization. It is a huge and hard to have proper sanitization during these hard times. Regularly washing our hands has been one of the best ways to prevent the coronavirus. Though there are other problems with sanitizers. Some are not widely available and some are overpriced. To solve the problem, I will try to make a homemade sanitizer which is effective and affordable. I will try to make it with materials found in the house. To make the sanitizers, there are two alternate recipes which I followed. First method is the requires 2 cups of 91 to 99% rubbing alcohol and also 1 cup of aloe vera. The second method requires 3 cups of 70% rubbing alcohol and also 1/3 cup of pure aloe vera gel. For these two methods, you have to use 15 drops of essential oil, which will make the sanitizer smell way better. These recipes have been proven to be effective and have been accepted by WHO as CDC as recipes to be used during times of need when sanitizers are not available to be bought. Alcohol is used during this process as it destroys disease-causing agents or pathogens by breaking apart proteins, splitting cells into pieces or Aloe vera is used because it protects against harmful diseases which can be helpful for the fight for coronavirus germs. What was my method for the product? Before starting to make the sanitizers, I made sure to wash my hands and clean my working space. After collecting all the materials I needed to make the sanitizers, such as aloe vera gel, essential oil, and rubbing alcohol, I had to measure each one in the correct proportions. I measured the aloe vera into 1/3 cup and 70% rubbing alcohol into 3 cups. The last step I did was to combine these ingredients into a mixing bowl and whisk it for 5 minutes to achieve a thick gel-like consistency. Homemade sanitizers have many environmental benefits. They use organic materials or ingredients that are good for the environment. The product wastage can be reduced, reduces animal testing, less plastic usage, as well. The global context I had chosen for the exhibition is fairness and development. The strength I chose was the access to equal opportunities. I had donated the product I had created to helpers which didn't have access to sanitizers. They were all very happy with the donation. Here are some of the photo evidences of them using the product. Personally, I am very satisfied with my product. It had a similar consistency to the ones in my local store. The product looked very professional. I personally think that my solution to the problem will be very effective, as my product proved to be 80% effective towards. It is a good initiative towards a problem to end the coronavirus quickly. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about the future of fuel cells. A bit about fuel cells are that fuel cells are similar to batteries in that they do not run out of power or need recharging. As long as fuel is available, they generate heat and energy. A fuel cell is made up of 2 electrodes, around 1 electrolyte, a negative electrode, and a positive electrode. My website contains of 3 blogs. The first one is what are the different types of fuel cells that are going to change the future of transportation. The first one is that in the current world, the percentage of fuel cells in transportations, such as cars, ships, are extremely less number, and most of the types of fuel cells and other mode of transportations are harmful to the environment and run on fossil fuels, meaning we soon won't be able to use oil to fuel our cars, and hence we have to move on to different types of fuel cells. My second block is the main type of fuel cells. Hydrogen fuel cell. The anode receives a fuel such as hydrogen, while the cathode receives air. A catalyst at the anode of a hydrogen fuel cell splits hydrogen molecules into protons and electrons, which travel opposite parts as cathodes. The electrons travel through an external circuit, causing electricity to flow. Hydrogen being the main fuel cell, the only products are electricity and water, and heat, making it extremely environmental friendly. The third is why use fuel cells. Transportation, material storage, stationary, compact, and emergency standby power applications are only few of the applications where fuel cells can be used. Fuel cells offer large number of advantages over traditional combustion-based systems and are widely used in number of power plants and motor cars. This concludes my website. Thank you for seeing my website on the future of fuel cells.
Good morning, respected principal, teachers, supervisors, and my dear friends. My name is Jonathan from grade 9, and for this year's exhibition, we are told to choose a topic on global issues. The topic that I chose as my global issue topic is coronavirus. The global context is globalization and sustainability, with the specific strand of what is the impact of decision making on humankind and the environment. My product is a presentation, and I created it with a website called Canva. Canva is a very good website to make posters, online posters, videos, or even presentation. So here's my product. The global economic outlook during the COVID-19 pandemic. Coronavirus are a family of viruses that cause illness in humans and animals. It can spread to the air when a person coughs, sneezes, or exhales. Coronavirus is not just a global pandemic and health crisis, it has also seriously affected the global economy and financial markets. Here are a few economic systems that got impacted by coronavirus, such as stock market, unemployment rate, and pharmaceutical companies. Economic development is an investment in growing your economy and enhancing the prosperity and quality of life for all residents. The fall of economic development due to coronavirus, the unemployment rate increases and the GDP decline. This is because there is low consumer demand, which leads to companies losing too much profit when demand falls, as well as the GDP is slowing down or is at negative states. Solution to coronavirus. There's no solution to coronavirus as of right now, but there are preventive measures that we can keep in mind, such as physical or social distancing, covering coughs or sneezes, hand washing, use of hand sanitizers, and then wear face masks when going outside. And there are several vaccines that have been developed in several countries. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jordan Ken Lehman from 9Z, and this is my topic for exhibition, Unsustainable Biofuel. In this presentation, I'll talk about how I came across my topic, critical questions, investigations, designing product, and the product itself. Selection of topic. There are a lot of topics that I have taken interest in, but from further research, I managed to narrow into one topic, which I believe is the most important due to its global effect. Unsustainable biofuel. Critical questions. Here, I started with questions to help understand the problem more clearly. In here, I decided to question the problem from the perspectives of different people. Since I have questions investigating the problem, I must have a question that will help me understand the solution better. Investigating. These were the questions as well as the answers to these questions. You could screenshot these slides if you want to look at the answers. Design of product. TikTok is a rising platform for influencers. It is currently taking over the world. Therefore, this would be a perfect opportunity to use TikTok to encourage others to join this industry and work together to formulate a solution. To make sure the video is easily understood, I made a script with less specific terminology, making it easier to understand for the target audience of students. Product. Here is my product. It is nearly 1 minute long to make use of TikTok's longest length of video feature.
It was predicted to be sustainable in the long term, being made of foods such as vegetable oil and animal fats. However, further research begs to differ. The decrease in food availability and high demand for crops, biofuel is increasing in sustainability. Agricultural biotechnology has the ability to increase crop yields, creating larger food availability. Increasing crop yields would result in an increase of biofuel production. Agricultural biotechnology, however, is not fully operational, nor is it at its peak of usage. We can help change this by supporting with donations or your involvement in this industry, which would speed up the creation of the long-awaited sustainable biofuel.
Here are the websites I have used. Thank you for listening.
The ocean stirs the heart, inspires the imagination, and brings eternal joy to soul. By Robert Weiland. Good morning, respected Principal Sir, supervisors, coordinators, teachers, and my dear friends. I am Kartikesh Shahi from grade 9C, and I am here to present my annual exhibition topic on marine conservation. Statement of inquiry. Technologies and humans can help to protect our ocean. Global context. Globalization and sustainability. What is marine conservation? Marine conservation, also known as ocean conservation, refers to the study of marine plants and animals, resources, and ecosystem functions. It is the protection and prevention of ecosystems in ocean and seas. through planned management in order to prevent the exploitations of these resources. Brief history of marine conservation. Marine conservation was first recognized in the United States during the early 1960s, which was a time where several sea creatures, such as humpback whales, were on the brink of extinction due to overfishing and environmental abuse. Why is marine conservation required? Marine conservation is greatly required when there is deterioration of the ecosystem and the marine environment. Marine conservation required when there is danger of ocean pollution. It can also help preserve habitats that are considered critical for the survival of life cycle of species. Marine conservation in Indonesia. Although its colorful reefs are among the most diverse on Earth, many of Indonesia's marine ecosystem are also among the most threatened due to dynamite fishing, mangrove destruction, and high rates of shark fishing and finning. That is why marine conservation planning is moving ahead to aware the fishermen and the community to join hands together and save the marine life. It will provide unique marine management to the local people. What are the vital threats of marine conservation? Oil spill. Oil spill pollutes the ocean. Many commercial ships and tankers discharge twice as much oil each year. Overfishing. Overfishing is negatively impacting our ocean. It can cause the extinction of certain species while threatening the survivability of any predator that depends on those species as a source of food. What are the technologies of marine conservation? Marine conservation technologies are used to protect endangered and threatened marine organisms and habitat. These technologies are innovative and revolutionary because they reduce bycatch, increase the survivorship and health of marine life and habitat. The ultimate aim is to keep our ocean and seas biologically diverse. Some of the technologies include marine protected areas, turtle excluder devices, autonomous recording unit, pop-up satellite archival tags, radio frequency identification. How can we help to protect our ocean? Establish marine park to protect biodiversity, minimize the use of military sonars that can harm or kill whales and other marine mammals, showing some support as a volunteer in marine organization, stop ocean dumping and beach littering. These are the sources of the images used in the PowerPoint to avoid copyright claims. These are the websites that helped me to gain ideas. Thank you.
The quote, "It's not stress that kills us, it's our reaction to it," by Hans Zeil, is a meaningful and factual quote which affects most people in today's world, mainly targeting the millennials and Generation Z of the 21st century. Stress can be responded to by people in several different ways, such as behavioral stress, which includes symptoms such as difficulty in communicating, inability to relax, having a change in sleep habits, etc. Although these aren't the only symptoms of stress, others can include psychological or emotional stress. Symptoms include denial, anxiety, fear, etc. Physical stress. Symptoms include increased blood pressure, headaches, sweating, chills, etc. Cognitive stress. Symptoms include forgetfulness, confusion, disorientation, etc. And finally, social stress. Symptoms include blaming, criticizing, isolating from people, etc. As you observe from the examples mentioned above, stress can affect people in mild or serious ways, and that is why we as a collective community of this world must find a solution to this uncontrollable problem by first analyzing what causes it. This project, however, is going to mainly focus on stress affecting the young generation of my community and to find out which types of stress affects friends my age the most. The first question I asked my friends was, have you ever faced stress or anxiety? 100% of them said yes. The next question I asked them, if yes, which one do you face or have faced? 36% of my friends said psychological or emotional stress. 24% of my friends said behavioral stress. And then I asked them what causes the stress. 82% of them said school demands and frustrations. The next question I asked them is, do you think gaming helps reduce anxiety or stress in some way? 86% of my friends said yes, while only 14% of them said no. And then I asked them to give an explanation for their reasoning for the above question. The next question I asked them, do you like playing short games while taking a break from all the stress surrounding you? 86% of my friends said yes, while only 14% of them said no. And the last question I asked them is, do you think gaming gives you some sense of accomplishment which may reduce your level of stress? 90% of them said yes, while only 10% of them said no. As you have seen from the results, gaming seems to be quite an effective way to solve various types of stress surrounding teenagers my age. So, to potentially solve the problem of mild stress and anxiety among the younger generation, I have created a simple game on an application called Swift Playgrounds, inspired from a childhood game I used to play with my friends called Lock and Key. The key being the player and the lock being the enemy. The game works in a way where you, the golden key, should not get caught by the lock, otherwise the lock will turn you into its own kind, making you lose the game. I am now going to demonstrate an example. As you can see, this is the golden key again, and I have to stay away from the locks. And it's working at a faster rate now, so I have to be careful. Keep as far away from the lock as possible. Okay, now I have no more friends and I have to stay away from the lock all by myself. Let's try go through this. Oh, okay, never mind. I lost. There are many reasons as to why I chose to make a game in order to reduce an individual's anxiety or stress levels. A few of them include video games present a challenge and reward you for overcoming it, which leads to feelings of competence and winning, which can make you feel joyful and happy. Gaming can create a flow state, which is similar to meditation. Video games give you instant rewards, which help you reduce the stress of achieving long-term goals. Gaming can be an avenue for creativity and art, which can help to decompress. Video games can result in meaningful social connections, which is great to unwind after a long day. From this whole research, we have established that gaming is an ideal solution to potentially remove stress among teenagers, and that sometimes it is okay to take a break and play some games before you start your assignments. Thank you for your attention, and have a great day.
Hello all, myself Krisha Nirmal from 9C, going to do a presentation on the topic of inappropriate medical waste disposal in the times of COVID-19. I have chosen Instagram as a platform because I feel like connecting to a wide range of people will help amplify my voice to the world so that action can be taken at the right time. Improper medical waste disposal is the disposal of waste in a way that has negative consequences for the earth. Moving on, we all know that masks are essential for the public to protect themselves from the virus. But they are causing a lot of harm to nature. Let's further see how they are harming the earth. Coronavirus has become a new form of pollution as single-use personal protective equipment floods our oceans. Governments need to act and ensure a green recovery that incentivizes sustainability. Hazardous substances result in deterioration of human health. Medical waste is booming. Gloves are made of polyvinyl chloride. Glass and needles cannot be incinerated. But this waste is piling up an environmental crisis. Many chemicals which are used in healthcare, are toxic, genotoxic, corrosive, flammable, reactive, explosive, and shock sensitive. When these pharmaceuticals or chemicals are disposed, they may cause intoxication either by acute or chronic pressure and injuries. It can lead to these hazards that are being projected, such as toxic exposure, chemical burns, air pollution, thermal injuries, radiation burns, etc. There is a solution called incineration that involves converting waste materials into ash, flue gas, and heat. It consists of inorganic components of waste that is carried by flue gas. The flue gas are supposed to be cleaned of particulate and gaseous contaminants before being released into the air. Sometimes heat is being generated to help produce electricity. Incineration plants can burn up to 300 million tons of garbage each year, converting it into power, reducing the load on coal-fired power plants. Incinerators also have a filter for trapping pollutants, with the capacity to recycle metals as well. This process can be a little expensive, but it destroys germs and chemicals that are harmful, such as COVID-19. It is a very effective method when it comes to eliminating clinical waste. When I saw medical professionals wearing PPE kits, I wondered where they are disposed. When I researched upon this topic, I found out that they are non-biodegradable. So I thought of finding a solution to the problem, such as incineration. It can prove to be one of the sustainable ways in which the earth can be saved from the increasing use of PPE, masks, gloves, needles, etc. as a barrier to the deadly virus. Doing this will decrease the amount of carbon footprint and make the earth a better place. When I made the product, I went up to Canva and I made the product in the section of Instagram posts, added a background and put a whimsical filter on it, adding relevant information. Together, I believe that you, me, we can transform the world. By taking an action step by step and hand in hand, together we can achieve a better and sustainable future for all of us. Thank you for listening.
Good afternoon. The topic for my exhibition is Healing the Earth with Green Garbage Enzymes. Have you ever imagined yourself cleaning your home with leftover scraps of food? Probably not, but after hearing this, you may want to. We all love our home to be sparkling clean and smelling nice. Conventional cleaning products might give the appearance of a sparkling clean home, but there are risks of exposing yourself to thousands of toxic and aggressive chemicals that are extremely hazardous to our health and the environment. It is not possible to completely eliminate the use of chemicals from our environment, but we can to some extent if we take an effort to lead a sustainable life. The good news is there is a simple, inexpensive, eco-friendly, and completely natural solution with no chemicals present to keep your home and environment clean. They are garbage enzymes. Garbage enzymes are a multi-purpose liquid that can be easily produced at home by converting our kitchen scraps that we normally discard as useless waste into powerful cleansers. It is a complex organic solution of protein chains, mineral salts, and juvenile hormones produced by the anaerobic fermentation by natural bacteria of fruit peels when added to brown sugar and water. It is dark brown in color and has a pungent sweet sour scent. The fermentation process takes up to 3 months to complete successfully. Orange peels, brown sugar, and water are mixed together in the golden ratio of 1 part brown sugar, 3 parts kitchen peels, and 10 parts water to prepare the garbage enzyme. The mixing process is done in an airtight plastic container which has the ability to expand. During the 3 months period, carbon dioxide is released during the fermentation process as a byproduct of the reaction. Pressure built up in the container must be released daily to avoid rupturing of the bottle. Orange peels need to push downward every once in a while. The container must then be placed in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated place where it will be left to ferment for 3 months. The fermentation yields a brownish liquid after 3 months and must be filtered in order to obtain the enzymatic solution. The residue left could be reused to create another batch of garbage enzymes. Enzymes will never expire. The longer you keep it, the stronger it becomes. Chemically, these bioenzymes are a mixture of vinegar and acetic acid, which gives it its antimicrobial properties produced by microorganisms that are naturally occurring in the environment. It is a simple fermentation process where good bacteria metabolizes the carbon-containing food waste into smaller compounds along with the release of gases using its own enzymes. Once all the food supply has diminished, the microbes will dissolve in the solution, leaving behind the bioenzyme of pH 3 to 4. The bioenzymes belonging to the multipurpose liquid help to catalyze the breakdown of water-insoluble dirt into smaller molecules by quickly locking its active site onto the substrate molecules. These include proteases catalyzing the breakdown of protein molecules such as bloodstains, and lipases catalyzing the breakdown of fat molecules such as greases while ensuring they're fully removed. This makes them a perfect cleaning agent. Cheap and economically beneficial, they also help to prevent drainpipe blockage, can be used for skincare, ease global warming, used as a deodorizer, effective insect repellent, and an air purifier by removing odors such as toxic car gas fumes. It is time for you to discover the endless benefits of this earth-saving enzyme yourself at your own kitchen now. Remember, they are not just enzymes created by the simple fermenting of food scraps in an airtight bottle, but rather a miraculous concoction to heal Mother Nature. Join me in my venture to lead a sustainable life, detoxify our world, make it a safe and chemical-free environment once again. It all starts with you. Thank you.
Hello, dear principal, supervisors, coordinators, teachers, my dear friends. I am Keenan from 9C and I will be presenting on my topic unsustainable palm oil plantation. My focus is to prevent unsustainable palm oil plantation. I have chosen unsustainable palm oil plantation as my topic for the exhibition because I think this has the biggest effects towards global issue. I will be focusing on the harmful gases that is released to the air by clearing forests to get empty, dry land using fire to burn it. Now I will be talking about my topic. Palm oil needs large space of dry lands for the plantation of palm oil because palm oil is used in many ways. It's used to satisfy human wants and needs, which countries need to have large amount quantities to meet their growing demand. This is a problem especially to the forests out there because in order to get palm oil, you will need to first clear huge amount of trees in the forest for space for the plantation on a dry land. In order to clear a large amount of space, you will need to use fire to burn and clear down the land full of trees. Now let's take a look at the product I made. So I came up with the idea that I will be spreading awareness on this issue to the school community using social media. I will spread awareness using social media and post relevant information and data about my global issue because since my target audience is the school community, most students and teachers in the school use social media. This will be the best and efficient way to spread awareness to the school community. Now let's take a look on the 5 posts I designed. The first post is about what is unsustainable palm oil plantation. The second post is about specific countries using palm oil. The third post focuses on the effects of palm oil plantation and the harmful gases that is produced by the forest fire. For the fourth post, I added some fun facts about palm oil to teach my target audience and to make them understand more on palm oil. Then finally, the last post is about the solution to my global issue. I have given 5 important steps to stop unsustainable palm oil plantation. And this is it. That's the final post I have done. With my product I have made, we can spread awareness about this major global issue. Thank you for listening.
Good morning, respected principal, sir, supervisors, coordinators, teachers, and fellow viewers. Today for exhibition, I'll be discussing the topic water wastage. First of all, what is water wastage? Water wastage is when clean, pure water becomes contaminated through various activities. The water therefore becomes contaminated and unusable unless it's refiltered, which would take a lot of energy and resources. Now, before I proceed, here's a statistic that caught my eye. Did you know a faucet that drips just once per second could waste about 27,000 gallons of water annually? Water wastage might be seen as a common occurrence, but these mind-blowing statistics show us why we should start taking it seriously as a global issue. Now, some people might say that statistics is just a number. However, these didn't show the global implications that water could have on economies and people's livelihoods. Reasons like the lack of water could stall economies, or the health condition could worsen due to the amount of dirty water. This could also affect the poor people, as when population increases and clean water supply decreases, it could spell disaster for the poor and unlucky ones, and could possibly even leak into the middle class. To prove my point, day zero is the fearful day when major cities will be forced to shut off their supply of clean water. Due to its scarcity, citizens will then only be able to get water in designated stations. Right now, it seems like Cape Town is the only one inching closer to it. But at this rate, even cities like Jakarta, Melbourne, and Barcelona could face it in the near future. Now, when I say unlucky ones, I mean the 11% that don't get access to clean water. These people rely on rivers to get water and normally rely on their daughters to take treacherous hikes that last hours just to get water that might not even be clean. This compromises their education, which in turn impacts their future. Now, here are some reasons on why we should save water. You can pause the video to read it if you want to. To connect this video back to my viewers, I've decided to take a survey from my peers on my age group regarding the water wastage topic. And here are the results. As it shows, 77.6% are not aware of the fact about how much water is getting wasted. 88.9% that think that if we save water, it will have an impact on the people who don't get access to clean water. 88.9% meanwhile have experienced water wastage in school, while 77.8% think that most people aren't doing their best to avoid water wastage. So I've come up with ways us individuals can do to save water, like taking short showers, checking for leaks in your pipe, or stop wasting water in the sink, or using a dishwasher and washing machine only when it's full, or also minimizing playing with hose and sprinkles if you have front or backyards in your house. To show it isn't that hard to save water, here's what you can do with just 50 liters of water a day. So overall, we should start taking actions now so we could avoid future problems of water wastage. So thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation and have a good day.
Have you endured pain, remorse, and loneliness behind the concrete walls of your room? Have you felt hopelessness to its most extreme in the past few months? Yes? Then you're not alone, my friends. I, Behal Gupta from grade 9C, wants to address this grave issue of securing mental health during the coronavirus pandemic. According to a survey conducted by WHO in 130 countries after the corona outbreak, there has been a drastic increase in the number of mental health patients in 93% of the countries. During these times of uncertainty and fear of the unknown, around 4 in 10 adults in the world have reported symptoms of depression and anxiety. 36% of us are having difficulties in sleeping, and almost all of us are in constant fear of contagion. Quarantine and disconnection from family members have resulted in people enduring thoughts of helplessness, isolation, grief, anxiety, and depression. I was inspired to take up sustaining mental health during coronavirus as my exhibition topic by observing both my paternal and maternal grandparents living in India all by themselves, not being able to see their children for more than a year, motivating us to take care of ourselves. They try to hide their disturbed mental state. Being an IP inquirer and a critical thinker made me wonder that if my grandparents can guide me in times of distress, then why can't I help them and many more? I pledge to be an excellent communicator, to connect with my friends and relatives who are sick and in solitude. I am using the online social platform Instagram to create a small community of people who would like to get inspired with my idea and help me spread the message of showing empathy and being strong in the pandemic. As a risk taker, I used my prior knowledge of drawing and painting to create artworks with inspirational quotes. Welcoming new challenges comes naturally to me, which motivated me to learn calligraphy to make the quotes look appealing. These are the artworks I made. Each one of them conveys a different message and is truly inspiring. I have already started to get overwhelming responses and high fives for my work. I'm remotivated to try new styles of art to soothe, engage, and delight my followers. Thank you.
Good morning, respected principal sir, supervisors, coordinators, teachers, parents, and all my dear friends. Today, I, Pari from the class 9C, will be presenting a solution towards keeping safety at home, a laser light security system. What is a laser security system? A laser-based security system is a type of a security and alarm system that uses laser light and a light sensor that detects any object that passes through it. There are many laser light systems assembled differently, few with mirrors or more than 5 lasers to cover a larger space. I have planned to make a simple one to cover a very small space, preferably an area in your house. Why is security so important? It is the responsibility of us humans to protect and safeguard not only homes and families, but also assets and valuable information from any kind of theft, damage, or loss. A service of proper security helps to reduce the fear of losing one's life, a huge loss of cash, and expands vital freedom. Computer and social medias are platforms of easy leaking. Therefore, when an information is leaked unknowingly and someone comes to rob it home, a security system will ensure that everything is safe. Few advantages and disadvantages and applications. The model construction for the making is very simple. If used with a battery, the laser security system can work even when there is a power outage. It can last up to 6 months continuously. It is very portable and can be brought anywhere at any time. This works only if the laser is obstructed. If the intruder passes without obstructing the laser, it is considered as a failure. It can harm the eye if a strong laser is used. This system can be used in safety lockers in our homes, where even if the locker code is hacked, it can act as an additional layer. Components required. Making the system at home can be a cheaper alternative than buying a laser system with these few components: a PCB, resistor, transistor, buzzer, LED, 9V battery, and LDR. How does it function? The basic sensing component of a modern laser security system is an infrared motion detector, which works by using a beam of infrared light to detect changes in the heat of a person or motion of an object. When a person or object moves into the beam of light, the sensor is alerted by the given heat by the individual or object. In the model that I have made, as I turn on the switch, the beam of laser shoots out into the opposite section, which is the detecting unit. Whenever anything passes through it, it will make a beeping noise. Here is a short video of the efficiency of the laser system that I made at home using these components. The following are the bibliography. Thank you for listening.
My topic for today is endure and overcome. I chose this topic because I feel like it's not really spoken of that much. The photo presented right now is a digital artwork which I have created from this topic. Sometimes I feel like pictures can speak 1,000 more words than what we actually want to say. In this case, I'll be combining a bit of mental health into the phrase endure and overcome. As you can see here, there are two people, opposite to each other. The bottom side represents the endure in the phrase, as to endure hate speech or judgmental comments made by people that can affect an individual's mental health in a negative manner. While the top side represents the overcome in the phrase, by ignoring the comments made by people and staying positive, which can help create a positive effect in the individual's mental health. At the back of the image at the top, you can see a vague picture of what looks like the one at the bottom, but it's sort of blurred, like it's fading out. This is supposed to give out an effect of thinking in a positive manner. You overcome those comments and eventually they disappear. You forget about them and you stay happy. Thank you.
Good morning, respected principal, supervisor, coordinator, teacher, parents, and my dear friend. I will be talking about coral reef destruction. Coral reef play an important role in the marine ecosystem. Around 25% of the marine species live in or near the corals. However, the population of the corals are currently falling drastically. This is the coral cover percentage in the Great Barrier Reef. As in the graph, it is falling every year, and there are few reasons why. The first reason is because of coral bleaching. Coral bleaching is a phenomenon which happens when the temperature of the ocean water increases. The coral expels the algae living in their tissues, which will make them look white. Bleached corals will become vulnerable to diseases, stops their growth, affects their reproduction, and impacts other species living in the corals. The second reason is because of dangerous ways of fishing. They are cyanide fishing, dynamite fishing, and bottom trawling. Cyanide fishing is a way of fishing by squirting out sodium cyanide into the fish's habitat, which is mainly corals. This sodium cyanide kills the polyps and algae in the coral, making the coral die. Dynamite fishing, as in the name, bombs an area on the lake or ocean in order to get many fishes. Bottom trawling is done by boats carrying very heavy nets placed on the ocean floor and then sweeps everything on it, including the corals. Few other reasons are eutrophication, ocean acidification, and dissolved gases. Eutrophication is when the algae overgrow in a lake. These algae block the sunlight and absorbs all the oxygen in the water, making other organisms in the lake unable to survive. Ocean acidification and dissolved gases are formed from industries. The wastewater in the industry goes to the ocean and makes it acidic, where the smoke from the industry dissolved in the ocean. Coral reefs give a great impact in the economy. It provides recreational activities like fishing and diving, which is good to attract tourists and get economic benefit. Coral provides foods and medicines too. Over 500 million depend on these reefs for food, protection, and income. The researchers from the Oxford Cambridge University and the University of San Diego have invented an artificial coral reef. When they tested for algae growth, it was around 100 times faster than in standard liquid growth mediums. These are the bibliography of the sites I used in order to make this presentation. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Thanuj Sharda and I'm from 9C. My topic for the exhibition is how atomic energy could save or destroy the world. Atomic energy comes from splitting atoms in a reactor to heat water that turns into steam. The steam then turns a turbine on and generates electricity. Atomic energy has been used in over 31 countries, and some of them are Japan, France, India, and America. To produce electricity from atomic energy, a nuclear reactor or a power plant is needed. They are machines that can control nuclear fission to produce electricity in a nuclear reactor. Atoms of uranium are forced to break apart. As they split, the atoms release tiny particles called fission products. The energy released from this chain reaction creates heat, and that helps produce electricity. Nuclear power plants produce maximum power more than 93% of the time during the year, which is about 1.5 to 2 times more than any natural gas and coal units, and 2.5 to 3.5 times more reliable than wind or solar plants. Atomic energy has a lot of beneficial uses, such as it protects air quality by producing mass amount of electricity, carbon-free electricity. It powers countries and contributes to many non-electric applications ranging from medical field to space exploration. It is also one of the largest source of clean power in United States. It generates over 800 billion kilowatts each year and produces more than half of the nation's emission-free electricity. This avoids more than 470 million metric units of carbon each year, which is equivalent to removing 100 million cars off the road. The two major cons to atomic energy is that its fuel source, atomic power, has some of the huge disadvantages. They are possibly of accidents and disposal of nuclear waste, which could harm the planet significantly. An accident at the plant could release radioactive material into the environment as a plume or cloud-like formation. The particles are compressed of unstable atoms that animals or deposit on ground. This could release energy called radiation until they become stable again. This is one of the main and the most important of atomic energy and nuclear power plants. But the nuclear power plants and atomic energy have saved the environment a lot of as they don't produce greenhouse gases and are fuel efficient. For decades, nuclear power generation had the cheapest operation cost since the last nuclear meltdown are extremely rare. Despite all the cons, nuclear power plants are really useful and beneficial to us. Many countries are looking forward to making nuclear power plants such as Indonesia and more countries. The conclusion of my project explains how important nuclear fission and nuclear power plants can be. It also helps show the importance of
Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about my exhibition. The global issue I've chosen for my exhibition is Quarantine 15. What is Quarantine 15? Quarantine 15 is when people gain 15 pounds during quarantine. It is the new freshman 15. To prove that Quarantine 15 is an actual global issue, here's the proof. On Instagram, there are 61,100 posts on the hashtag Quarantine15. And on TikTok, there are 50.5 million views on the same hashtag. The causes: stress. We're all at a situation where our stress levels are high, and when we are stressed, we make poor food choices. Eating 24/7. We are all stuck at home where food is available for 24/7. We're constantly eating. Moving less. We are moving way much less than we used to, but still eating more. For the solution, I have made a digital poster, and on the poster, there's information on what happens to our body when we gain weight, and the tips to lose the Quarantine 15. When we gain weight, Our sense of taste dulls and leads to overeating. More cholesterols are collected in our blood, which leads to heart diseases. You feel more depressed every day. For the tips, take baby steps. You can't make 5 different changes at the same time. It will only increase your stress levels. Make one change at a time. This will help decrease your stress. Easy to do at home exercise. We need to move more to lose that quarantine 15. You can exercise without going to the gym. I have added a video link of a very good and simple exercise that anyone can do. Follow a eating schedule. Plan your meals, snacks, and stick to them. This will help you prevent from eating more. Thank you for listening.
Abhi, you're dealing with scientific and technical intelligence. Indeed. Artificial intelligence, virtual reality. That's what 21st century is going towards. Nice topic, Abhi. And keep working and developing your intelligences with solid character. Anirudh, a board game to improve depression. All right. With this pandemic, yes, we are all home bound, home grounded. So we need to have some good board games and good activities to keep us happy and cheerful. Well, Anirudh, I congratulate you for designing a board game to keep us in good cheer. All right, Ankit, you're dealing again with depression in teenagers. Well, teenagers are active people, full of energy, and sometimes when situations become difficult, depression does come in, but with a little bit of introspection, with a little bit of reflection, with a little bit of prayers, and a little bit of conversation with parents and teachers and friends, you can overcome that. You can overcome depression. I'm sure, Ankit, you have given some good solutions. Atharva, you're dealing with bullying. Yes, in this world, there is bullying. And normally bullies are cowards. So we shouldn't be afraid of them at all. And if someone is trying to take advantage, physically or mentally, he should be reported immediately, he or she. Reported to parents, to teachers, who will guide. Nice topic, Atharva. And Casey, to investigate the weaponization of nuclear energy and the tasks that come with utilizing it. Weaponization of nuclear energy. Well, it's Casey, a big problem. Nuclear energy and weapons in self-destruction of humanity. And your investigations are highly appreciated, Casey. In fact, weaponization of nuclear energy should stop. How it will be done, Casey, you're a young person. Maybe your solutions will help this world. Harshan, making effective disinfectants, hand sanitizers with materials easily found in homes. That means you want to make disinfectant hand sanitizers with materials which are found in home. All right, Harshan. We need hand sanitization, especially more in this pandemic. So your suggestion that hand sanitizers materials can be made at home. Wonderful, wonderful. Good thinking. Jarvis, the future of fuel cells. A highly investigative topic. So Jarvis, I congratulate you on your research. And Jonathan, you're dealing with a global issue, coronavirus. Well, I appreciate all the suggestions that you have. And my prayer is that it should vanish from the face of the earth. ASAP. And God will help. Jordan, unsustainable biofuels. Yes, we have to think of our environment, and we have to use fuels which will not harm us. Yes, Jordan, good research. Mohammed Keenan, unsustainable palm oil plantations. Well, palm oil is an essential material, but we should go doing things which are beyond the safety of the environment. So, Mohammed Keenan, your research will certainly be of great help. Nathan, water wastage. Yes, water has to be conserved and protected from pollution. Wastage of water has to be put an end to. Nathan, that's a good suggestion and a good research. Seodong, marine conservation. Marine life is important, not only for the oceans, it's the whole cycle. It even affects us. So we have to make sure that we don't pollute the oceans anymore. Yes, Theodong, I congratulate you for this topic. And Tanuj, you took up the topic, how atomic energy could save or destroy the world. Yes. Atomic energy certainly can destroy the world. We've seen one example in Japan, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, and now with more lethal weapons from atomic energy will destroy planet Earth if they are used. And at the same time, if atomic energy is harnessed, Tanuj, as you are saying in your topic, in your research, if it is harnessed, it could make this planet clean and provide energy. Very nice topic, Tanuj. Very nice indeed. All your topics are of a global concern. Must be shared with IB and with the United Nations as well. Ashmit, electric vehicles. Yes, that's the need of the day. To lessen pollution of the air, of the atmosphere. And Karthike, marine conservation. Yes, indeed, Karthike. No more plastics in the ocean. Simple message. So I hope, Karthike, your suggestions make an impact on my minds of human beings all over the world. Astha, how has this pandemic affected plants' life on Earth? Okay, that's a new approach, Astha. How this pandemic has affected plants' life on Earth. It's a worthwhile discussion. I look forward to your suggestions, Astha. Aishanya, CRISPR, revolutionary tool to eradicate genetic diseases. Very, very specific topic, Aishanya. Congratulations. We don't want genetic diseases. So I wish you all the best on your research. And Anushka, your topic, how human consciousness should form society instead of society forming human consciousness. Yes, indeed, Anushka. Human consciousness should form society. Indeed. If we are caring and careful, we'll have a good society. And Francis, microplastics. It's very frightening when plastics degenerate into micro pieces, go into marine life, and sometimes that comes on our table. It is indeed a frightening situation. Francis, we look forward to your solutions and a good topic. Trisha, inappropriate disposal of medical waste in times of COVID-19. How callous can human beings be? Medical waste cannot be just thrown here and there or into garbage bins. It has to be taken care of very scientifically and properly. Yes, Krisha, more awareness is needed. More awareness is needed to dispose medical waste. Good topic. Meher, heal the earth with green garbage enzymes. What a nice topic. Meher, I congratulate you on your research. And Pahel, combating mental health issues during coronavirus pandemic. Yes, people are confined to their homes. Activities outdoors have more or less come to a standstill. So it is exerting a pressure on the minds. But then good education teaches us adaptability. We have to adapt. We have to change. And there are so many good things we can do in the confines of our home. So many good things. List them, Pahel, for people to see them. Good topic. Pari, your topic, laser light security alarm systems. Indeed. It's a very specific topic, and I congratulate you for your research on it. Laser light security alarm systems. And Sarah, you're dealing with art, interpretive drawings. A very powerful subject. Art can convey in a picture which 1,000 words cannot. That's how it is. Wonderful, Sarah. I appreciate your topic. Kim, how to lose the quarantine. Well, Kim, this is a very specific topic. I congratulate you for your research on this and look forward to hearing more about it. Kashvi, how video games can help reduce the levels of anxiety among adults. Well, Kashvi, I appreciate your topic again and look forward to your solutions. So 9C, I congratulate you for your wonderful topics. 26 wonderful topics of research, analysis, and suggestions. I request the IB coordinators and supervisors to send these to IB, put them on our website and Instagram. Let the world see what GMI's kids are capable of doing, leading the way to make this world a better place. Well done, keep it up.